Hey everyone, Haley here from The Foiled Plan. We are back with episode number 4 in this creative design series. We're still looking at PROCREATE, so if you're unfamiliar with the app, I definitely suggest starting back at episode 1, and I will put a link to that video up here in the corner. So definitely start there first. That video is going to go over downloading the app, installing it, and opening it for the very first time. From there, you'll progress forward and eventually end at this episode, episode 4. In today's video, we are going over hand gestures and shortcuts. We still have not introduced the Apple Pencil yet, so if you don't have one, don't worry, you won't need it for this tutorial. We do have a lot to get through today though, so let's just jump right into the tutorial. Let's go. Alright, so let's just jump right into gestures and shortcuts for working on the canvas. The number one gesture that I use as a shortcut is to undo something. So if I draw a line here and I want to get rid of it, yes, I could hit this button over here, but it's a lot quicker if you just take 2 fingers, they can be any 2 fingers, and you tap them once on your screen. And the line is gone. That one I use the most out of anything. Now let's say you want to get that line back. Rather than hitting this button over here to redo, you're going to take 3 fingers, they can be any 3 fingers, and tap anywhere on the screen. And now that line is back. So undo, 2 fingers, redo, 3 fingers. Now let's say you have quite a few things that you want to get rid of, but you don't want to get rid of everything that's on your layer. It would take a lot of tapping on the screen if you wanted to undo using the 2-finger method, but there is another solution. It's called the rapid undo. So just so we have some lines on the screen so you can see what I'm doing. If I take 2 fingers and I tap on the screen, but I hold my fingers there, watch what happens. As soon as I release, the lines stop disappearing. So that's called rapid undo. Now, I can also do the same thing to redo all of those lines that I just got rid of. Maybe you've undone things too far and you need to come back a little bit. So you take 3 fingers, tap once, and hold down. You can see all those lines come back. So that is really helpful. 2 fingers, rapid undo, 3 fingers, rapid redo. Now let's say that I know I want to get rid of every single thing in that layer. What you can do is go up, click on the layer, and then the menu pops up beside it, and you can click the clear button over here. And that will get rid of everything just on that layer. But the shortcut to clear a layer is actually to take 3 fingers and you're going to brush them across the screen like this and watch what happens. Everything from that layer is now completely gone. So 3 fingers brushing across the screen, that will clear the layer. Let's move on to cut, copy, and paste. So we're going to use our 3 fingers and we're going to swipe down. And that's going to open up this menu here where we can cut, copy, copy all, paste. It's grayed out right now because I don't have anything on my clipboard to paste. Cut and paste, copy and paste. If I were to, let's say, I'm going to click on this layer 2, which is the drop shadow from this word. And if I swipe down, I'm going to go copy. So that layer is copied. And then if I come up here to this empty layer and click on that, and I swipe down again, now paste is available. So if I click paste, now everything that I copied is pasted in that layer. So let's show you that again. So I'm going to go down to the layer that I want to copy. This also works if you're going to Google Images to find something and you want to insert it in your picture or your drawing. You would copy the image normally and then come over here and then do your swipe down and then hit paste. Okay, so I'm on that layer. I'm going to swipe down, click copy, and then I'm going to go on a layer above that and swipe down with 3 fingers to click paste. Now I want to clear that layer again, so rather than me doing it the long way, I'm just going to use my 3 fingers, and now that layer is clear. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to show you is just a hand gesture, and it's something that I use all the time. So if I want to zoom in on a specific part of my design, maybe I want to see some more detail, or I want to get in there with a smaller brush, all you have to do is choose 2 fingers. I typically work with my thumb and my pointer finger. You rest them both on the screen, and then you expand your fingers, just like if you're zooming in on a picture on your phone. So we just keep zooming in, and we can get quite far into that design. Now, let's say you want to zoom back out. You're just going to do it the opposite way. So zoom in and zoom out. Now, let's say you've zoomed in and you want to jump right back to seeing the full view of your design without having to pinch out or zoom back out. What you can do is you pinch with your fingers and then pull your fingers off the screen. So just like that. So we're in here, we pinch in, and our fingers come off the screen, and now our design is back in full view. Now let's say you want to go back to the spot that you were just in. What you do is the opposite way. So you're going to start with your fingers together and spread your fingers apart. So that's now the spot that I was just in. Fairly straightforward. Once you get into designing things, this will just be second nature, and it'll be really easy for you to zoom in. A lot of times I use both hands while I am designing, so I will hold my Apple Pencil in my right hand and I'll be zooming in and out with my left, but you'll find whatever is most comfortable for you. All right, so now we're going to go over how to hide the user interface. So that is everything at the top and the side here. So maybe you're working and you want to get rid of that and just see your canvas on the screen. I'll be honest, I never do that, but you might want to. So to have the option, you're going to take 4 fingers and you're going to tap. That's it. To get it back, again, just tap those 4 fingers, or you can press that button at the top left corner. So again, 4 fingers, it goes away and it comes back. And when it is away, you can still zoom in just like you are used to. All right, so those are the basic gestures and shortcuts when you're working on the canvas. Let's move on to quick shapes and line gestures. So the first thing that I'm going to show you how to do is draw a perfectly straight line. So if you select your brush, I'm going to pick one that is a monoline so that you guys can do the same thing. Monoline calligraphy. And I'm going to up the size so that you guys can see it a little bit easier. When you are drawing a line, if you want it to be completely straight, all you're going to do is start drawing, and then when you get to the end of the line, you're just going to hold your finger on the screen. Then eventually the line is going to snap into a perfectly straight line. So just so you can see, I'm going to hold, and it says line created. Now, if I want to edit that line, this little menu box pops up where it says edit shape. I'm going to click that, and I can drag this. I can resize it. Wherever it needs to go, I can move it there. And this works even if your line is pretty wonky. See, it snaps it to be completely straight. Something else that you can do when you're creating lines is use your other hand, and let's see what happens. So if I draw my line, my finger is still on there. If I use one finger to tap on the screen and I hold it down, This is going to jump to 15-degree increments. So now I'm moving this, but every time I move it, it's now 15 degrees that it's moving. So that might be useful to you. For myself, I have honestly never used it, but the option is there if you need it. You can also use this if you're wanting to draw a zigzag. Hold it, and it's going to snap, and this is a polyline. And again, the edit shape pops up, and you can adjust each one of these points. Pretty neat. You can also draw shapes. So if I go ahead and create my round shape and then connect to where I started, I just hold my finger there and then the ellipse has been created. Now, this is not a perfect circle, but if I want it to be, I can go to Edit Shape and I can change it over here to Circle. Now it's a perfect circle. So there's also a hand gesture that you can use as a shortcut to make it a perfect circle. So if you want to use the shortcut to create a circle, all you have to do is draw your round shape and connect it. And you're going to use another finger to touch the screen, and your circle is now perfect. And then I'm just going to remove my finger that is holding the circle first, and then I can get rid of my other hand. And even from there, you can edit the shape as well. If you want to edit your circle or ellipse more, what you can do when you're drawing it is hold your finger there. I'm going to see what happens if you take your finger off. The perfect circle goes away and it's back to the original shape that you created. So what you can do if you want to make this shape bigger, you just drag your finger out while keeping it on the screen or in. And you can do that when it's a perfect circle as well. So pretty handy if you want to make some quick shapes. All right, so you can also draw a square and you can edit the shape because it's not a perfect square, and you have all of these options: quadrilateral, rectangle, square, polyline, and ellipse. So if I click square, now that shape is perfect. It is tilted a little bit, but each side is the exact same size, so I know it's a perfect square. Or I go back to quadrilateral. All right, so if I want to make a perfect square when I'm originally drawing it, it's going to be similar to how I drew the perfect circle. So I'm going to draw my square and then tap once on the screen, and my perfect square has been created. I realize that these don't quite match up, so the square is not 100% perfect, but the circle one definitely works really well for this. Again, I don't really use the square option or the rectangular option, but I have definitely used the circle feature quite a bit in my drawings. All right, well, I don't want to overwhelm you guys today. That was a lot to get through as far as gestures and shortcuts go. There is still a lot more that we can learn for the toolbar and the layer shortcuts, but I'm going to have a separate video that's just for shortcuts for those two things. I will be putting helpful timestamps in the description box below if you want to jump back to a specific shortcut and how to do that. That will be down below, and you'll just click the actual time. So it might say like 1:42, and you can actually click right there and it'll jump to that spot in the video and show you exactly how to do that specific gesture. I hope you guys found this helpful. These shortcuts and gestures are so helpful when you get to actually start designing things. And it may seem like an insanely long list, but once you get doing this, it just becomes second nature, and I promise you, you won't even have to think about it. You'll just draw and tap to undo and redo and making your perfect circles. You'll be fine. Don't stress, don't get overwhelmed. You can also go back and take notes and write down the certain shortcuts and gestures that I've shown you today, and then start using them when you are designing your masterpieces, works of art, your designs, whatever it is you're creating on your iPad. All right, so I will see you guys on Friday for my regular content video, and then early next week I will have another episode in this creative design series. So make sure you guys like this video. If you enjoy this type of thing, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so you don't miss when I upload these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a super awesome day. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Bye!